Hi, Max Brantley with the Arkansas Times on Friday, November the 11th. As you know, it's Veterans Day, a slow day, but a good day to remember all the many veterans who've done so much for the United States through the years. You can credit or blame the military for my presence here today. My mom and dad both volunteered for Army service in World War II. Fate sent them both to India, where they met, and they eventually married at an Army chapel hospital at Fort Sam Houston in San Antonio, Texas. So thank them for that. That's my mom, a fighting dietitian in a Jeep in India. That photo you'll see there. Veterans figure in another local political story today. Lieutenant Governor Tim Griffin, you may have heard, is furious because House Democrats, although they number only 24 out of 100 members, managed to score a majority of the seats on the House Revenue and Taxation Committee yesterday. He thinks Democrats shouldn't have a voice in government in such a small minority. The reason Tim Griffin is upset is he has a piece of legislation by which he proposes to eliminate the income tax on all the income of retired veterans. It's always popular to give further benefits to veterans. They don't get preferential income tax treatment at the federal level, but it costs money to do it, and it raises questions about whether others are also deserving for similar income tax cuts. It's not a popular thing to raise questions about this, but there are also some Republicans, military veterans, several of them, who understand that there's a matter of equity and fiscal soundness in these things. But Tim Griffin wants to burnish his record to be governor someday, and so he's not happy that the House Democrats potentially have formed a roadblock to his plans. Other news today, Donald Trump is still going to be the next president of the United States. No change in that. That's news that does not make a lot of people happy. The stories today all are about what he might do as president. And of course, the future of Obamacare is certainly in doubt. I had lunch today with somebody who has a child that has a pre-existing condition that requires a very expensive treatment every year that is now covered under her private health insurance because of Obamacare. If pre-existing coverage conditions change, she may lose her health care. There are a lot of people in the United States that have these same concerns. Another fallout of the Donald Trump election has been some reports of unrest in various levels of society, particularly at schools. I don't think it's unusual when winners of athletic contests taunt the losers sometimes. It's not good sportsmanship, but it happens. But there have been reports in Arkansas, Conway, Star City, Hamburg, Central High School, and Little Rock of unpleasant things said by students who backed Donald Trump to other students, particularly minority students. Several have been told, they say, to go back to Africa. Well, of course, they're Americans just like everybody else, despite the color of their skin. I do think at some point this could grow into a serious problem unless the candidate who's going to be president says very strongly that he doesn't endorse this kind of thing. We hope we can see that from him. We hope these are isolated incidents that don't get worse, but it's something to watch. Ted Suhl, the mental health services executive who's convicted last month of bribing a state official to help his mental health services business, has asked the court this week to be allowed to remain free pending his appeal. He thinks he has a good chance to overturn his conviction. He doesn't want to have to go to prison January 3rd while that appeal is pending. The government is resisting that. I hesitate to recommend this in a way. It's terrible, wrenching reading, but it tells you about how terrible things are done to children by adults and sometimes by their own parents. Check the Arkansas blog for Benji Hardy's covering of the Mauricio Torres murder case in northwest Arkansas. He's accused of killing his six-year-old son by most terrible means. Finally, a little piece of news from New Mexico that's of interest in Arkansas. A federal appeals court has said that a Ten Commandments monument put up in front of a New Mexico City Hall clearly is unconstitutional. He doesn't see how anybody could say it's not about a religious observance. Of course, that's what the ACLU will say if Senator Jason Rapert is able to go ahead with his plans to put a Ten Commandments monument on the state capitol grounds. He should lose that lawsuit, but of course Donald Trump's going to be appointing a lot more judges and things could change at that level as well. That's among the many things we'll be watching in the days, months, and years ahead. That's the end of this week. Thank goodness. Maybe next week will be better. I'm Max Brantley. I'll be back.